Hi everyone. Let us see this unit number 13, Methods of Time Series Analysis. In this unit, we are going to see what is the objective for this unit, introduction, pattern of time series, methods of measurement of time, freehand method, and least cost method, and some examples under the time series, and summing up of this unit and keywords and terminal questions likewise. So, very first one, we are going to see what is the objective of this unit. So, in this unit, we are going to see the analysis and interpretation. That is, we are going to find out a model to describe the time independence in the data, forecasting or prediction. So we are going to give a sample from the series, forecast the next value or next few values. The next one is control, adjust various control parameters to make the series fit closer to a target. And the next one is adjustment. In a linear model, the errors could form a time series of a correlated data. So these are our objectives. Now we are moving into the introduction of this unit. So here, already we know that the statistics is a collection of data only. So all the methods are related to data. So these data are independent or at least cost they are uncorrelated. So many practical situations we have where the data might be correlated. Okay, so if they are correlated, then what will happen? So when these values are, particularly when the observations are repeated on a given system, are made sequentially in time. So the data gathered sequentially in time are called time series. So here we are going to give some examples for this time series. So this is economics and finance, obviously, and environmental modeling, metallurgy, and hydrology. So these are some basic examples for this time series. And the next one is pattern of time series. Um, so under this topic, we have what are the patterns of the time series we are going to see. So here we are time series, basically it is a chronological order or sequence, we can say, of observation on a particular variable. So usually these observations are taken at regular intervals, that may be days or month or year or week or likewise whatever may be. So it may be of a regular intervals. So but the samplings could be irregular. uh, a time series analysis consists of two steps. So, the first step is we are going to build a model that represents the time series. The next one is validating the model proposed. And the third point we are going to have is using the model, we are going to predict or forecast the future values, and or we are going to predict the input the missing values. So these are the basic steps we are having in time series. So if a time series or regular pattern, then the value of the series should be a function of previous values. The goal of building this time series is nothing but same as the goal of for the other types of predictive models, which is going to create a model such that the error between the predicted value and the targetable value and the actual value is some small as possible. um, Here, the primary or major difference between the time series model and the other types of model is that lag values of the target variable are produced or used in the predictor variable. So whereas in the traditional model, we use that other variables as predictors, and the concept of the lag value doesn't apply because the observation don't represent a chronological order. So here we are having some methods of measuring the trend values. So here, um, here we are going to see various methods we have which are using to determine the trend. So the effect of long-term causes is seen as the trend values we compute. And here, a trend is also known as a secular trend or long-term trend as well as. So there are several methods which are isolating the trend, of which we shall discuss only two methods which are most frequently used. Here, very that is used. We are these methods are frequently we are using in business and economic time series data analysis. So they are freehand method and method of least square. So apart from that, we have these are the two basic methods. But apart from that, we have semi-average method, moving average method also. So since these two are frequently we are using, so here we are going to see this. So this freehand method. So let us see this type. So in this method, the first requirement of the is that the graph. So freehand method, I think so. From the name of the title itself, we can say what it is. So here we are going to uh, draw the graph on the graph paper using the data given to us, which are the numerical collections. So freehandly, we are going to draw a straight line in a graph that it passes through the middle of the entire graph of the time series. So here we can have the procedure to draw the straight line trend. Uh, So the first point is the procedure. The first one is plot the time series on a graph. And the second point is examine the direction of trend based on the plotted information. And the third one is draw a straight line which will best fit to the data according to the personal judgment. So the line now shows the direction of the trend. So, when a trend line is fitted by a freehand method, an attempt should be made to make it conform that as much as possible to the following conditions. So, the conditions we may have is it should be smooth, or either it may be a straight line or a combination of long gradual curves. And the second point can be the sum of the vertical deviations from the trend of the annual observations above the trend should equal the sum of the vertical derivations from the trend of the observations below the trend. And the third point is the sum of the squares of the vertical derivations of the observations from trend should be small as possible. The trend. So the last point is the trend should be should bisect the cycles so that the area above the trend equals that below the trend, not only for the entire series but as much as possible for each useful cycle. So the last condition always met will be cannot be it will be fulfilled. So we can have it to observe this as early, as closely as possible. So here, so the time series here, particularly we can say the time series is subject to very irregular movements only. So here on illustrations we are having. So let us see that one. From the following data, find the trend line by using the freehand method or graph line method we can have. So graphical method or freehand method we can say. So the data given to us are year 1994 to 2003 we have, and food grain production 35, 55, 40, 85, 135. Likewise, it is given for each and every year up to 2003. So here Here we have taken in the x-axis and food grain production in the y-axis. So the data we have considered as 1994 to 2003, we have marked in the x-axis, and food grain production according to the data, we have taken the data as in the y-axis, we have taken this 0, 20, 40, likewise 20 units, that is we have taken. So now we are going to plot the points 1994, comma 35 and 1995, comma 55, 1996, comma 40, 1997, comma 85. Likewise, we have. So there is last value 2003, comma 120. Likewise, we have drawn. So now we have to join these plotted points by a straight line. So if I join this point means I got one curve. Okay, so the trend line I can have, so which comes in the middle. So that's that curve we have. So that's that straight line. So that is the trend line we have represented. So here, this is that example for the trend line. How we are using this trend line in by using make freehand method. So here in the freehand method also we have merits and limitations. So for example, we can list out the merits. So what are the merits? Let us see that one simple method of this method is a very simple method of measuring the trend, and this method is very flexible so that it can be can be used regardless of whether the trend is straight line or curve. That's very easiest one. The third point is a simplest of a long experience who is familiar with the institutional setting, history, and behavior of the series may well as be able to manually fit a trend superior to one derived by the mathematical means. These are the merits we have under this freehand method. So let us see the limitations. So what are the limitations we have? The first point we can have is this method is highly subjective because the trend line depends on the personal adjustment judgment of the investigator, and therefore different persons may draw a different trend lines from same set of data. And the second point is, since freehand curve fitting is subjective, it cannot have much value if it is used as a basis of prediction. And the third point, this method appears simple and direct. However, it is very time consuming to construct a freehand trend if a careful and conscientious job is done. So, these are the limitations we have under this um, freehand method. Now, let us move on to the next method, which is least square method. So here we have, so we will see what do you mean by this method, least square method. So this method is most widely used in practice. It is a mathematical method we have. With the help of a trend line is fitted to the data in such a manner that the following two conditions are satisfied. So the first condition is summation of y minus yc equal to 0. That is the sum of deviations of, what do you mean by this y and the computed? So the sum of the deviations of the actual values of y and the computed values of y is 0. Y is nothing but actual. That is actual values of y, and yc is computed values of y is 0. So that deviation is 0. Okay. And the second point is the sum of y minus yc the whole square is least. That is the sum of squares of the deviations of the actual, and computer values is least from the line. So therefore we can say that this is nothing but method of least square we can have. So this is the name of this method. So the line obtained by this method is known as the line of the best fit we can have. So the method of least square may be used either to fit a straight line, trend, or a parabolic trend. Okay, so this line we can have as the straight line trend is represented by the equation yc equal to a plus bx. So this yc, where yc is used to design the trend values to distinguish them from actual y values. A is the nothing but y-intercept, and where on the computer trend value, and y is the variable when x equal to 0, and b represents the slope of the trend line, or the amount of change in y variable that is associated with a change of one unit in x variable. So this x variable in time series analysis represents the time. So here we have a basic formula for finding that equation of trend we have seen. So now we can have this as what do you mean by this a and b? In the equations we have a and b, we have noted yc equal to a plus bx. So what is this a and what is this b? So the value of the constants a and b are determined by the normal equations. So summation y is equal to na plus b summation x, and summation xy is equal to summation a into summation x plus b into summation x square. So the process of finding the constant a and b may be very simple by using the shortcut method. That's by taking the origin here in such a way that it gives a total of summation x which equal to 0. So this is possible. That is if when the median year of the origin period. Thus, the negative values of first half of the series balance out of the positive value is second half. So the normal equations we have with respect to summation x equal to 0. So we have summation y is equal to a, that is equal to, that is a is what means as summation bx becomes 0. Summation xy, that is equal to b into summation x square, as summation x becomes 0. Okay, so therefore we have a is the formula. What's the formula for finding this a and b? So the formula for finding a is summation y by n, and b is summation xy by summation x squared. So these are the two formulas we have. So it is noted that when a number of time units involved is even, the point of origin will have to be chosen between two middle term units. So let us consider an illustration we have to understand the procedure for estimation of the trend by using the method of least square. So this is the second illustration. Illustration 2. In this illustration, the decision making body of the fertilizer firm produces fertilizer wants to predict the future sales trend for the year 2006 and 8 based on the analysis of the past sales pattern. So the sales of the firm for the last 7 years for the purpose are given below. So A is equal to summation y by, already we know this one. A is equal to summation y by n, and B is equal to summation xy by summation x square. So in order to make the total of x is 0, but let us make the median year 2001 as origin. So we will see this. See this one, year, sales, x square, xy, and trend values yc. These are given. So 1998 to 2004 it is given. The corresponding sales are given, and x and x square and xy, the trend values yc, a plus bx. So how we are going to find out a? A is nothing but summation y by n. So summation y is 609. So divided by n is number of observations we have. So b is summation xy by summation x square, and so in this one x we have taken as x value we have calculated, and x, there is x bar we have considered this as. So how in the middle year, that is we are year we in the year 1998 to 2004, which year comes in the middle? That is here we have 2001. So how it is deviated from the 2001 year? So 1988 minus 2001, so minus 3. So 1999 minus 2001 minus 2. So likewise, it is how it is deviated from 2001 that we have calculated in the x column, and x square column. So simple, so the squaring of the x column, so we are considering xy column. So sales we are considering as y, so xy column we are computing. So the trend value column, the last column, a plus bx. So a we have considered as summation y by n, the formula. So applying on the formula, we are getting a value as 87, and b as summation xy by summation x square. So it is 117 by 28. So it is 4.18. So the trend value we have as 1887 plus 4.18x. So from the equation we can have, so we have applied from the last column, that is a plus bx, each and every for a year, each and every year we have calculated what is the trend. So that summation of this one, summation of this trend value, summation of the trend value y equal to a plus bx. So that summation we found. So we, from the above equation, we can also find a monthly increase in the sales. So that's that we have. So hence we completed what's that trend value. So here you have you can see in the last column we have computed what is the, we have listed what is the trend value of the all the years. So at the down we have said separately how we have calculated the trend values. So the trend values are obtained, which are obtained are as follows: the y 1998 is equal to, so the same value we have. So 1998 to 1999 they have found. So 87 plus 4.18 into 2. So which is 78.6, so on. So in this manner we can have the method of least square. So in this one, next we are going to see predicting with the decomposed component of the time series. So the management wants to estimate the fertilizer sales up to 2006 and 2008. The estimation of sales for 2006 is X, and that will value will be 5. So for 2004 it was 3. So we have, you see, 2006, how we are calculating 87 plus 4.18 into 5. So it is 107.9 thousand tons. Estimation of sales 2008, X would be 7. So Y 2008 is equal to, we have calculated this one. So these are the self assessment we have. Self-assessment we have. So whether we are going to state the statement, following statements are true or false. So the freehand method, which gives the different straight lines for the same data when efforts are made by different persons. The multiplicative model is based on the assumption that the causes giving rise to the four components are dependent. So freehand curve is drawn without any normal calculations or trend section. So this is true or false, we have to say. Similarly, a total of difference between the original and trend values will never be 0. And the law C, subdivision E. In the least square, trend value is trend equation yc equal to a plus bx. So if a b is positive, it indicates the rising trend. So the last is F question. See, the additive model of a time series analysis is expressed as y is equal to t plus s plus c plus l. So we have to state whether this is true or false. And the next one is enumerate the methods of isolating trend. And here the problem we have. So using this years and production, we have to give a freehand method. This graphical method we have to say, we have to draw. So the food grain production we have. So this, some the real time examples we have a sales data, gross national product and share prices, exchange rate, unemployment rates, population, foreign debit, and interest sums. So these are the sum up of this unit. So here in this unit, we introduce the concept of time series and analysis with a view of making more accurate and reliable forecast for the future. The quantitative values of the variable under the study are denoted by y1, y2, y3, and the corresponding units or time units are denoted by x1, x2, x3, etc. So the value y, already we have seen, y shall we have variations. You will be see ups and downs in the values. There are number of causes during the given time period which affects the variable. So therefore, the time becomes the basis of analysis. Time is not a cause, and the changes in the values of the variable are not the effect. The causes which affect the variable gradually and permanently are termed as long-term causes. The causes which affect the variable uh, only for the time being are termed as short-term causes. The time series are usually the result of effects of one or more four components. These are trend variations T, seasonal variation is, cyclical variation C, and irregular variations I. So when we are going to analysis the time series, we try to isolate and measure the effect of various kinds of time components. And also we have discussed the additive model and multiplicative model also. And so the long term predictions can be made on the basis of trend, and only the least square method of trend computation offers this possibility. So the keywords we have as time series, secular trend, seasonal variation, and cyclical variations, and irregular variation. So the terminal questions we have is what is a time series? Why do we analysis the time series? Explain briefly about the components of time series, and so the following value we are going to find out the trend value. These are the practice problems for you, so you can try these questions. So. So these are the questions we have for your practice problems, and I think so we can you can make this as solve these problems very easily. So thank you.